If you have ever walked out of a job interview thinking I nailed it, only to never hear back, you're not alone. Welcome to Work in Quiet, where we share insights and tips to help you grow in your career, business, and life. I have been a technical interviewer for 10 years and a professional in this industry for 20 years. I have seen brilliant candidates get rejected and average ones get offers, all because of how they handled three key phases of the interview process: before, during, and after the interview. In this video, I'm pulling back the curtain to share some insider tips on what you, as the interviewee, should actually be doing to stand out, based on what I have seen work after years of sitting on the other side of the table. Whether you're being ghosted or just want to stand out, these are real tips that work. No fluff, no generic advice, let's get into it. Before the interview. Passing your job interview does not start at the interview itself. Even before that day, there are a lot of things you need to prepare for. First, research the company you're applying to. Know what business they are in. What are they selling? What services do they provide? What is their company culture like? We are way past the early internet days. Most companies have websites where you can learn about their products, services, history, and even who founded them. There's a big chance they'll ask you if you know anything about the company. Being able to answer this confidently shows that you're genuinely interested. Next, research the industry they belong to. If you are already working in the same industry, great. But if not, take the extra step to understand how that industry works, how companies make money in it, and what values they typically look for in employees. This gives you an edge. Also, review the job description carefully. Look at their responsibilities and qualifications they are asking for. Expect that the interviewer will ask questions that test how well you fit these. For example, if the job says accounting knowledge is a nice to have and you don't have it, then do some basic research. Start learning, even if it's just the basics. You don't want to walk into the interview with zero knowledge. Now, about that classic question, tell me more about yourself. Always be ready for this one. It sounds personal and it can be, but answer it in a way that aligns with what the company is looking for. This is where all that research comes in handy. You might have a ton of different skills or hobbies, but don't just mention random ones like playing video games. Instead, highlight the ones that show you're a good match. For example, if you're applying to a tech company, you could talk about how you are enjoying reading up on emerging technologies. Review your past projects, especially the ones you plan to mention during the interview. Even if it's a project from a year or two ago, refresh your memory. You might think you know it well, but in the heat of the moment, details can slip. If you're prepared, you'll feel more confident and sound more capable. It helps you avoid fumbling when they ask you specifics. If the interview is in person, plan how to get there. Check the office location, your commute, traffic conditions, train or bus schedules, all that. Aim to arrive early. If something unexpected happens, like a delay, you will still have time to get there without stress. Being punctual gives a great impression. Interviewers are usually busy and carve out time to speak with you, so respect that. Show up on time. Dress professionally. I know this varies from country to country. At the very least, wear smart casual. Please, don't show up on a t-shirt. If it's a remote interview, over video or phone, check your internet connection beforehand. Make sure you're in a quiet spot where you will not be interrupted. If you're doing a video call from home, tidy up your background or use a virtual one. Avoid having people walking behind you. That's really distracting. And again, wear professional clothes. Even if it's a video call, dress appropriately. First impressions still matter. Now, let's talk about what to do during the actual interview. This one's important. Be honest. I get it. You might be nervous or feel like you need to say what they want to hear, but don't lie. The interview is not just about whether you're right for the company, it is also about whether the company is right for you. If you say you're okay with weekend work but actually hate it, you'll end up unhappy and underperforming. That's bad for you and the company. I've seen this happen and it never ends well. These days, interviewers tend to avoid theoretical questions. Instead, they'll ask you about real situations you have been. This is called behavioral or competency-based interviewing. So instead of asking, what will you do if? They'll say, tell me about a time when. This is why reviewing your past projects is so important. You'll be asked to talk about what you have actually done. When answering, be detailed but stay on point. Don't ramble or go off topic. Make sure everything you say supports your answer. The more clearly and specifically you can describe your work, the more confident and competent you'll seem. Here's a tip. Even if they ask you a what question, think about also answering the how. For example, if they ask, what do you do at the start of your day? Don't just say, I check for incidents. Instead, explain how you do it. You might say something like, I log into Jira or ServiceNow first thing in the morning, check the dashboards I have set up, prioritize urgent issues, and assign them to the right teams. That paints a much clearer picture. I have interviewed candidates who give the shortest possible answers, like 2 to 3 words. Even when I try to follow up, it makes it really hard to evaluate them properly. Also, don't assume your interviewer knows all the jargon or acronyms you use. Even if the company is in the same industry, some terms might be different. Try to explain clearly or ask if they're familiar with certain terms. Understand how your role, whether it's your current job or a previous one, contributes to the bigger picture. How does what you do help the company reach its goals? For example, maybe you develop a feature that helped land a big client or improve something that became a selling point. That kind of insight shows you understand your value and how you fit into the business. You might also get asked questions to assess cultural fit, like how you work with others. Again, be honest. If they ask you about a situation you have never been in, just say so. But also share how you would approach it if it happened. That gives the interviewer something to work with. Once the interview wraps up and they ask you if you have any questions, don't say no. If you have questions in mind, ask. This is another chance to show how interested you are. Ask about their expectations if you get hired. What would your first few months look like? But don't ask about salary yet, not until they bring up the job offer. At this point, they're probably still deciding who to pick. Always thank your interviewers. Let them know you appreciate their time and that you look forward to hearing back. If they say they will get back to you, ask when you can expect a response, especially if you are interviewing with other companies. That lets them know that there's a chance that they could lose you if they take too long. And yes, follow up. If they don't get back to you on the date they mentioned, send a polite follow-up email. Showing this level of interest can actually help. And that's it. I hope you find these tips helpful and feel more prepared for your next interview. If you have any questions, or if there's a topic you'd like me to cover in a future video, drop a comment below. If you found this helpful, please give a thumbs up and consider subscribing for similar content. Thanks for watching.